So in this video, I want to share with you something really, really deep and personal for me. And it's something that I was on the fence about sharing with, but I had a really good friend kind of encourage me to be open about this whole thing and to kind of give you bits about my past life. I guess you could say a hidden secret that I have. It's not really hidden, it's been hidden in plain sight. And I want to get deeply personal with you. So then that way you can learn from some of the things that I went through and use these experiences, my pitfalls, as a way to kind of catapult yourself into a future of success. So before I get started with this, I want to share with you a quote that came directly from the Bible. And here's the quote for you. It's John 8:7. He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. In this situation, I'm going to be the her. So I want you to think about that quote as I get into this secret past that I have. So I have a lot to cover. Let's get into it. So every so often I get a troll who decides that he or she, usually it's a he, wants to dump some nasty comments in the comment section below. And, you know, I think what happens with a lot of people, especially those with self-esteem issues, they like to troll people, I guess, because maybe it makes them feel more manly. Because again, it's most men that end up doing the trolling. There are some women, but mostly it's men. And I don't know if they feel emasculated with a strong, powerful, wealthy woman that comes to them with trying to give them advice or to give them information and learning tools to help build or rebuild their lives, but maybe they just don't feel like they deserve it, or that they feel like, you know, that they want that kind of help. And so over the years, I've had trolls that do this kind of thing. And before it used to trigger me, I'm not going to lie. But just in the past couple of years, it's triggered me less because I feel like this person who I was a long, long time ago, and we're talking 25 years ago, actually longer if you get into the nuances of it, which I'm going to explain in a minute, that person is not, that was a lifetime ago. I'm 51 years old. That was a lifetime ago. And so one of the things I want to share with you is what this past is. So then that way, when you come across these different trolly types of comments, you'll know exactly what it's about, because most of the people haven't even done adequate research to even know what the hell they're talking about to begin with. Okay. So first and foremost, before I get into exactly what this secret past is of Monica Maine, I want to share with you this book. So this is my book. I've had over 100,000 readers of this book between my free downloads, my paid downloads on Amazon, and the physical copy of this book since it came out 6 years ago. And just to prove to you that this isn't something that I'm trying to sweep under the carpet or secretly get away with, it's actually in chapter 15. Chapter 15. I actually share with you exactly what this secret is that some of the trolls think that they got it. Oh, I got you, Monica. I got you. I found this whole thing on the internet about you. And really, you didn't find jack nothing, because it's in my book, and it's been in my book for 6 years. Preceding that, about a couple of years, I did this report as I was in the process of creating my book, The Lost Secret. This is called The Lost Chapters of Think and Grow Rich. And I actually talk about it in this report. And this report came out almost 2 years. So that's 8 years ago before the book came out, okay? So there's no gotcha moment, guys. There's no big secret that I haven't already talked about. It's just that you think because you did 5 minutes worth of research online that you found some gotcha moment, and you really didn't find jack nothing, okay? You're just a troll, and that's all you are. And again, I'm not talking to most of you. I'm talking to the couple of people that, and you know who you are, right? And so I want to tell you what the deal is, what the trolling is about, why I believe that's important as far as the depth of the things that I can bring to you, and why I feel so passionate about what I do with my videos, with my trainings, and what I have to bring to you, because I don't want to see anybody go through the crap that I went through. I really don't. I wouldn't even wish that on my worst enemy. Well, maybe I would, but you know, things happen, you know, and it kind of makes you humble. It kind of damages you. I believe this is where I got post-traumatic stress disorder and a lot of other symptoms that I have now, but I'm working and healing through it. And again, here we are a lifetime later, it seems like. And and I'm still working through it. So what is this big secret that some of the trolls kind of dig up on me? And again, hiding in plain sight in my book, which, by the way, if you'd like a free download copy of this book, you can go to school.com/Monica Main. You could see for yourself what's in the chapter. What did I say it was? Chapter 15. See for yourself, word for word, what these trolls say I'm hiding, which I haven't been hiding jack nothing. Apparently, a lot of these trolls just don't know how to read, because it's been there the whole time. It's been there for 8 years, folks. 8 years this information's been out there. So there's no big secret. So here's the story. I was 19 years old and I started my first serious business, and it was a business in mail order. And I learned the mail order business between Gary Halbert and Dan Kennedy. They were famous marketers back in the day. Dan Kennedy's still hanging on by a thread. And they were people that I admired and learned a lot from. And unfortunately, though, when you're in certain kinds of businesses, you tend to be under a lot more scrutiny than other kinds of businesses. Like any kind of mail order back in the 80s and 90s was under a lot of scrutiny, just like telemarketing and MLM and those kinds of businesses. And then when I first started my business, I didn't know nothing about what I was doing, like literally nothing. This is not stuff they teach you in school. This is not stuff that they give you crash courses on. And back then, there wasn't even a lot of information on the legal aspects of starting a business. So I was 19 when I started my first serious mail order business. And then into my early 20s, it was actually doing better and better and better. And then finally, one day, I was having a lot of issues with the spouse that I married to. I was married 3 times so far. The first one was an abusive drug dealer. And I didn't realize he was an abusive drug dealer till after we got married. And so my whole focus and attention at that time went on to trying to get out of the abusive relationship. And at that time I was drinking a lot. I was really a hot mess, really, if you think about it. I can't even believe I got through that part of my life, quite honestly. And so I was just focused on the business, making as much money as I possibly could to get out of this relationship. And if you've ever been an abused woman, you know that you don't know up from down, down from up. The days, kind of blend in from one day to the next, and you really just try to focus on survival at that time. So that's where I was mentally, emotionally, physically, and of course financially, because I was very driven to get out of that situation. And I don't know that I was really focused enough on dotting all my I's and crossing all my T's when it came to the legal aspects of my business. So essentially what I had was a mail order business selling information products. But because I was such a hot mess at that time, it was going weeks and then months of me not fulfilling my mail order orders that came in through the mail. And back then, mail order was it. Like, you were making money as a mail order millionaire, I guess, if you will, and you weren't making money online yet. The online thing wasn't a thing back then. And so coming under scrutiny, and probably legitimately coming under scrutiny, I had the FBI come in, and they were, going through all my records and going through all my stuff because I was not fulfilling the orders quick enough. I had my mom working for me, and I'm not going to pass the buck onto her. She's been long past. It's been 20 years. But I don't feel like she was supporting me in the way that I thought she was. Now, mind you, like I said, the buck stops at me. It's my fault because I own the business and I should have been paying closer attention. But I had her managing my office, and it turned out that not only was she not fulfilling the orders, and again, my fault, not hers, but she was also stealing money from me, and this is why I have so many issues with trust and, all these things. I have had every family member has stolen from me, every employee, just about every employee. I don't want to say every employee, but just about every employee has embezzled from me at some level. So I have very, very hardcore trust issues, to say the least. I trust basically no one. And so yeah, again, the buck stops at me, and the feds came in because, rightfully so, I was not fulfilling the orders fast enough. So mail order law is that you have to fulfill orders within 30 days of the date that you received the order. Some of the orders were going 2 months or longer. And so they came in, they froze all my assets, and eventually I ended up getting what did they give me? A 4-year prison term? I think it was longer, but by the time I got good time and everything, it was a total of 4 years that I ended up doing in the federal penitentiaries. I should say multiples, because there was a bunch of them that I transferred through. And then when I ended up getting out, because I was still under federal probation, they scrutinized every single business that I started from that point forward. And so that's when the CFTC came in, because they felt like I was someone with a target on my back. I was literally doing nothing wrong with the business that I started after that, like literally nothing. And so the reason I came under scrutiny because of that business was because I was referring leads. There was a broker that I really liked. He was a financial broker. He would help people set up margin accounts to trade in the markets. And he was a really good guy. His name was Scott. I don't want to say his last name. He died of a massive heart attack because of all the stress that the CFTC ended up putting him through. Really great guy. Well, I was giving him free leads. I was like, hey, this broker is amazing. He's great. If you are looking for a broker and you don't know who to go with, maybe you can talk to him and see if he can help you, right? That was basically my pitch. Or you can go with your broker. It's completely up to you. Well, they thought that he was paying me for leads. And so that's how the whole investigation started, because he had something called a red license. I'm not going to explain to you what that is. If you're in the trading world, you know what that is. I didn't know he had a red license. A red license means that he was already under scrutiny based on probably a slush bucket fund brokerage house that he worked for. And he was already under scrutiny. So they couldn't believe that I was giving him, thousands of people his information for free without him paying for it. So he initially was the one who came under investigation, and then they're looking at me closer like, oh wait, she was in federal prison and she's under federal probation, so she must be doing something wrong. There's no way anybody with a good, kind heart would just give this broker leads for free. She's got to be getting paid. So they just started to look through all my financials, realized I wasn't getting paid for these leads. I really truly was giving these leads for free to this broker who I believed in. But it was already too late. So then they started picking apart the business. They started freezing all my assets. Again, replay of everything that happened before. But this time it was just a civil lawsuit. And at the very end of it, all they can get me on was that my disclaimer was size 6 font, and it should have been like a size 10 or 12. That's it. That's all they got me on. And because I lost all my money, which was millions of dollars at that time, and I couldn't fight back because I couldn't afford an attorney. This is how they get you. This is how the federal system screws you over, is that they take all your money away from you, so then that way you can't fight, you can't get an attorney, you can't do shit. And that's how they get you, right? So that's what ended up happening to me. So I literally had to sign my life away saying, I'm not going to be in this business anymore, and basically screw off. And that's essentially what happened. So, fast forward all those years later, they had a judgment against me for millions of dollars based on a fine. Basically a fine means grab from thin air what I think she might owe us for her negligence, even though this is not based on any victims or anything. It was just a grab from air fine, kind of like when you get pulled over for a traffic ticket. Grab from air fine, not like you were negligent in any way, hurt anybody, or actually owe anybody anything, but it's just a grab from air fine, which turned out to be millions of dollars. And I'm like, well, I have no choice but to sign on this because I have no money to fight for this anymore. And it had been 2 years, from 2005 to 2007, that I had been fighting them in court. And after everything with the federal stuff before then, I didn't have it in me anymore to fight. I just didn't. And I just signed away. I didn't care. I did not care about what happened to me anymore at that point. And so that's why I ended up getting that big judgment, which is what I was able to get off my credit report years later with fighting TransUnion, fighting Equifax, fighting Experian over it. And I ended up getting a multi-million-dollar judgment taken off of my credit back then, among many other things, which is why I know so much about credit and business now, and of course the legalities of everything, because I learned, okay? I learned in the real trenches, people. Hello, that's how you learn, right? So fast forward to today, and even though I appreciate the lessons I've had, I still realize that I have post-traumatic stress disorder from many of the things that I went through. I felt like a lot of it was unfair. So going back to when the feds first raided me, we're talking the late 90s, this is how I realized how dirty feds are. They actually stole cash from me, put it in their pocket and walked away, didn't even claim it on any of my seizure paperwork. They literally put it in their pocket and left. This is how dirty they are. And so when we take a look at what's happening with the federal government today, the feds and so forth, I just watch and I observe, because I realize just how scandalous, corrupt, and dirty the whole system is. And so I just take a look at all the things that are happening, everybody turning the tables on each other. I can't possibly take any federal charge against anyone seriously. I can't. They literally called me a kingpin. I don't know if you know what a kingpin is, but if you don't, look it up. And that means that you are overseeing and maneuvering and manipulating multitudes of people in kind of a hierarchy of some kind of mobster type of deal. And I was the only person charged. And that's the other reason why I can't take it seriously, because there were other people involved and none of them were charged. None of them. I had a business partner, he wasn't charged. My ex-husband, he was part of it, never charged. My mom, she was actually on my paperwork, never charged. In fact, I will never forget the day that I was sentenced when the judge actually said, the reason I'm giving you the maximum sentence is because you used your own mom to fuel your own greed. That's what he said, word for word. And I had no idea what he actually meant until I looked at the paperwork and I realized that she was running her own version of this business, stealing my stamps, stealing my mailing list, stealing all of my, copying services and all this to start her own side business. And the judge blamed me for it, which is why I ended up getting even more time than I would have gotten, because he thought that I was pulling the strings and I had, told her to do this, and I had no idea any of it was going on. And needless to say, during that time in my life, it was definitely the worst time in my life. It was the worst time, hands down, because not only do you go through all of this, you don't really know what's going on, but you're also not trusting your friends or family anymore. You don't trust anybody anymore because everybody is out to get you. Everybody's stabbing you in the back. Everybody's ripping you off, and everybody is, out for themselves. And it was just a really hard time for me. And so that's why I kind of stay to myself now. I don't have many friends or family that I communicate with. I am very much to myself because of the trust issues that I've had, and I've just never had any good luck as far as any family who's ever stood in my corner and stood behind me as a support system. I just have never had that. So for those of you that want to know what the story is, that's the story. You can come up with your own narrative if you like. You're certainly free to do that. I don't care either way. Like I said, I used to be triggered by it. I'm not anymore, because I'm grateful for the experience to be able to be taught what to do and what not to do. So you certainly are free to go online and go anywhere you'd like to find whatever education you're looking for. But for me, I don't know about you, but I'd rather learn from somebody who's been through it and knows what to do and what not to do. Because again, this is stuff they do not teach you in school on purpose, because they want you to be undereducated. They don't want you to know what's going on, and they certainly don't want you to be empowered. So if you're okay with learning stuff from a 20-something-year-old on YouTube about how to run and start a business, go ahead. I can tell you that person's never been through even a quarter of what I've gone through, but maybe they know more than me. I don't know. All I know is I know what to do and what not to do, credit-wise, business-wise, legal-wise. That's why I know as much as I know, because I've literally been through the worst of it. And so if you want to learn from somebody who hasn't been through any of it, you're like, well, Monica, because you have felonies and because you're this, because you're that, I don't want to learn from you because I don't trust you. I'm going to learn from somebody who's never been sued, never been through this, never been through that. Well, then you're learning from somebody who's never been in business, never been successful. Because I can tell you, every single person that I know, and I've met some billionaires in my day, they've been sued like you would not believe. They've had the government go after them. They've been fined. Anybody who's been in big business making a lot of money has gone through a lot of the types of stuff that I've gone through, okay? But however, on the flip side, if you want to deal with somebody who's never gone through any of that, then you're talking to somebody who's never made 2 cents in their life. They've never made any significant dollar amount to be a target of anything, whether it's a personal lawsuit, civil lawsuit, government lawsuit. They've just never been a target because they've never made any money to be a target, right? And so the reason I'm telling you all this is because I do get kind of tired of the one-sided, oh, Monica, I gotcha, damn it. I found this thing online. Hello, been in my book for 6 years, been in this report that I released before the book 2 years before that. So it's been out there for 8 years, folks. For those of you that know how to read, it's been out there, okay? And if I really, truly did not want anybody to know about this, number one, I would not have put this in the book that over 100,000 people have read so far. But I would not be giving you this book for free on my website at school.com/Monica Main, which you can actually download right now if you'd like to read the chapter. Read the chapter yourself. You don't have to make any assertions or assumptions or create your own narrative as a troll. You don't have to do that when it's all here, okay? What did I say? It was chapter 15? Yeah, that's where it's at. So read it yourself. And if you decide, well, Monica, you're just not for me. I want to learn from the 20-something-year-old that's never been sued, never dealt with any of this, and is perfect, then go with the 20-something-year-old or 30-something-year-old that hasn't ever been sued. And good luck with that. You learn a lot when you've been through stuff, okay? When you've been through stuff, you really learn a lot. And I've learned a lot. I've learned what not to do. I've learned what I could do, what I should do, what I shouldn't do. I've learned all of those things over the years. And maybe if you don't feel like you want to learn it from me, then maybe learn it on your own and go through your own school of hard knocks. Maybe it's time for you to do that, because I found that people are, not a lot of people, but there are some people that are very judgmental, and they would rather learn from somebody who hasn't been through anything. And if that's you, go ahead. And sometimes you have to learn these lessons on your own then. If you don't want to take my advice about the things to do to avoid the pitfalls, or the things to not do, or the things that maybe you should consider doing, and if you'd rather learn from somebody who's perfect and never went through any trials and tribulations, then go ahead and learn from them. Or, like I said, learn on your own. Unfortunately, when you learn on your own, though, if you don't come from a space of knowing enough information, because again, they don't teach you any of this on purpose, then you probably will have to succumb to some of these hard lessons on your own, including lawsuits, including maybe some federal civil lawsuits, or God forbid, being locked up. Sometimes you have to learn those lessons. But in the meantime, for me, again, it's very difficult for me to take any, like when I see stuff on the news where somebody was slapped with some federal thing, or they were locked up for some federal deal, or the whole Martha Stewart thing, I just look at it and go, okay, all the fat old white males that got away with, thousands and thousands of trades that they knew they were insider trades, never were popped for anything. And then you have little Martha Stewart that, I'm like, oh, please. They just target certain people. That's just a reality. And then I look at all the people in the press now that they just simply don't do anything about, they don't go after. And you just have to laugh about what a joke the freaking system is. It's a freaking joke. And they will target certain people. They'll target women more than men. They'll target minorities more than white people. That is just the reality of how the system works. So now that I see the system kind of crumbling apart, and I see just kind of how the system is starting to attack itself, I just think that it's interesting. And I actually hope that the entire system collapses, because the way it is now, as dirty as it is and as scandalous as it is, maybe it's time for the entire system to collapse, because it's never been a good system to begin with. And I knew that 25 years ago when all this stuff happened to me, and people didn't believe me back then when I say it's just impossible for me to take the system seriously. It just is. It's just all bogus. When you have the Fed stealing from you, putting cash in their pocket from your house or your office, stealing from you, thinking that they're justified in doing that, that's when you realize that it's a dirty freaking system. And you just hope the whole thing collapses. And so, like I said, if you'd rather learn from somebody else, go for it, by all means. But all I have to say is at least I don't have as many felonies as the President of the United States at this point. So that's always a good thing, right? But the way I look at it is, if the president can have 34 felonies, well, maybe I should run for office or something. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I'm just letting you know that, if you have a perfect life and you're a perfect person, by all means, I'm so glad that you are. But unfortunately, when you are perfect the entire time, which I doubt you are, otherwise you wouldn't be here on this earthly plane. But I've noticed that people that are perfect are boring. They don't learn anything in their entire lifetime. And then, of course, when you don't learn anything, you can't progress forward. So I'm hoping that this kind of sheds some light. As I mentioned, if you want this book, go to school.com/Monica Main. You can download it instantly for free, as well as some other books and other free trainings, but also being part of a community that's just vibrant with a bunch of amazing individuals just like yourself, who really want to learn how to fix their credit, want to learn the ultimate profitable side hustle business, want to learn how to really focus on your future moving forward. Because as I mentioned, I think the system is starting to crumble. It's starting to fight itself. And you need to start thinking about not not the system, not politicians, not what everything else is happening around you, what's going on, especially on the news. What you need to start focusing in on is yourself and your family, and how you're going to support these people that are depending on you. And if you don't have some kind of side hustle or some kind of business, some kind of profit plan moving forward, then you're not going to make it. So instead of focusing in on what is good, what's not good, all the stuff that's going on, all the political stuff, all the news, all the media, me and all the stuff that I've been through in my life, instead of focusing in on all that crap, start focusing in on you. Okay, what can you do now to help build a future for yourself and your family? And so that's what I'm here for, is to share that with you and to show you. And if you want to be on that journey with me, by all means, give me a nice thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, get my free book at school.com/Monica Main. Read it for yourself, firsthand information, rather than from the trolls who think that they have a gotcha moment. Oh, I gotcha, Monica. I got you. I found this out on the internet. Okay, dopest. It's been in this book this whole time, okay? No gotcha moment there. Sorry to burst your bubble, but it just didn't happen, all right? So read it yourself and allow me to help you navigate the pitfalls and the sinking ships of life, if you will, by allowing you to avoid it altogether. Because who better to guide you through a process of trying to get through a path full of mines than somebody who's already been there, rather than the guide that doesn't know anything about anything. I mean, it's completely up to you on what you want to do, but I will always be there to help you and to help guide you, because that is my mission on this earth, to continue to guide you and move you forward. So then that way I can help you through the credit maze, through the money game, through the side hustle opportunities that are available for you, so that you can make it. My goal is to make sure that you not only make it, but that you thrive in the months and years to come, as everything does start to fall around your ears and come collapsing down, because I truly believe that things are starting to collapse. And you can choose. Do I want to focus and worry and run for the hills screaming, ripping my hair out, not knowing what to do? Or do I want to just say, you know what, Monica's going to help me, or maybe I just help myself. I just stay focused. I meditate every day, and I just focus on my intuition, and I just go in the direction my intuition says. I block out all the media, and I just basically keep plodding along until I actually get to my goal. It's completely up to you, but I will always be here as your guide. If you would so choose to have me as your guide, I will always be here for you, okay? This is Monica Main signing off, and I will see you in the next video.